Good morning and welcome to a background technique. Bear with me. I'm hoping I haven't lost everybody. My phone just rang, but I think we're okay. If someone could give me some thumbs up, that would be great. If you can hear me okay as well, obviously, that would be lovely. Good morning. Thank you, Philippa. Excellent. Thank you for all the thumbs up as well. Thanks, everybody. And good morning and welcome to my background inspiration technique that I discovered yesterday. Yeah, and I've just had fun. I literally had to stop doing what I was doing so that I could, start the video because I've just been making more this morning. So let me flip the camera and I will share with you what I've been doing. I don't know whether to show you the finished result. Shall I show you the finished result first or shall I show you the back? No, I'll show you the backgrounds. Right, okay. So I started off yesterday by saying you needed some water-based pens, but I have discovered you can do it with ink pads. I've used distressed oxides because that's what I have to hand, but distress inks would be even better because they're just dye-based ink pads. You can also do it with watercolour pencils. So yes, just a variety. I've used my clean colour, which are water-based pens that anything that you colour with, that you add water to, you could do this technique with. And I haven't actually done it on a bit of super smooth yet, so I might do a bit of super smooth as well this morning, just so that we can see the difference. So let me turn you round, bear with me. But thank you ever so much for joining me. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm reading a comment. Hang on, sorry. How lucky are you, lovely? You had Seth Apter. Hi, Seth. I know. Yes, I do realise that he's in Australia at the. It is Australia, isn't it, at the moment? But yes, wow. Thank you for your company. I've had such fun with this technique. I really have. Okay, so have I actually done the camera very well? I got a bit excited there, sorry. It's so lovely. I met Seth and he's such a lovely man and he's so artistic and just amazing. He is definitely an artist and I'm a crafter, okay? There's a big difference. But yes, he's a lovely man too. So, okay. So these were created. This was my first one that I did, and I did this with the distressed oxides. I squished some ink out and spritzed it with water. Oh, right, I see. Oh, Wendy. Yes, I've done a Seth Apter workshop as well. It's incredible, isn't it? He is. He's just the nicest man. And did he decorate his shirt? That's what I want to know, because when we had a workshop with him, he had a really lovely navy blue cotton shirt on that he kept wiping his paintbrush on. But oh my God, it was amazing at the end of it. Right, okay, sorry, I'll get back to this. So this was the one that I created with the distressed oxide. So I squished some ink out onto my silicone mat, spritzed it with some water and painted some stripes. So I wanted to get like a plaid look. Now, I know this is very rough, okay, but it was the first one that I did. And I only used a round paintbrush. Now, I can't find my small flathead paintbrush. I can only find a wide one and it was too wide. So I ended up going for this round one, but I've done all of the techniques with this brush. So I've used the same one for all of them. So this was distressed oxides and I used mustard seed, picked raspberry and ripe persimmon. Because you're adding a lot of water, you have to remember that it's going to change how the colours look. And this was done onto a watercolour card. This one I did with my clean colour pens. So I used the bright pink and the bright orange, and I think I used the pale orange. I think I did those 3 colours for this one. And again, I just love how when you go over with the paintbrush to blur the lines, it gives it like that watercolour effect. And I just thought it was absolutely fabulous. So that was with my clean colours. And then this was with my clean colours, and they were those 3 colours. Now, I've only just done this one, did this one this morning. But again, I just love how adding that water, it just gives you those lovely soft lines. And the more water you add, the paler your colours are going to be. So if you want them to be a bit stronger, just don't add quite so much water. And if you wanted to, you could go back in with them. Now, this one, I did actually use my ruler. Now, I put it down on my card and then I went above the ruler, but it just was enabled me to keep things a little bit straighter, and it wasn't quite so freehand as, say, this one, because this one I didn't use a ruler, as you can see. I also wanted to show, let me just stand my pens up, that you don't have to do lots and lots of lines. You can make it just one colour. This one is my Inktense pencils. So I just used one colour, which was a teal green, and I might add to it. I don't know yet. But again, I did that with watercolour pencils and my water brush and my paintbrush with some water. Now, the reason I did that is because I wanted a lot more water coming out than you normally get from just your water brush. So I do think you need a paintbrush and some, you know, like I just spritz some water out on my mat and pick it up from there. And then this one, I got my Carin markers out. So I got these beauties out, which because they're in a drawer, you forget about them. But they're so beautiful. And again, they mix really nicely. They react really nicely with water. So I used those. And I know that I did have some Studio Light watercolour pens. So if you've got those will work. But it just works so beautifully. And again, I love the watercolour effect. So if you don't like it, then this isn't going to be for you. But I really love that effect and how you get all those different tones just from the same colours. And like I say, the more water you put on your brush, you can do thin lines, you can do fatter lines. You know, you can make the plaid or the background look however you want. Don't have to do plaid, but that was the pattern I was after. And then I turned one of them into a tag. I discovered I had a really nice Tim Holtz Sizzix tag die that I've totally forgotten about. And then I was inspired to put my bunnies on in black and white after seeing Brian's lovely squash book and how he had all that lovely colour as background, and then he just used the bunny in black and white, and I thought it looked so striking on there. And I want to make these to go on some Easter gifts, and I've got about 12 to do. No, actually probably more than that, probably about 20 actually. So I wanted something that's going to be quick and easy. So I'm going to create different colour backgrounds that go for the people that I'm giving the gift to. So I know, you know, some people I know what colours they like. So I will do colours that correspond with that. But I did really love this. And I think that the black and white, and I did use my black ink pad and clear embossing on the rabbit and the words. I forgot on the flowers. And I have put little bits in the centres of the flowers of liquid pearls. I've discovered these again. I think I need to buy myself some new ones because they're so old. And I just picked out one of the colours for the bunny rabbit's tail. So I didn't want to do too much colouring because I thought if I start, then I'm not going to stop. And I think if I coloured it in, it wouldn't have the impact that it's got, that it has being black and white. Anyway, so let me, waffled on enough. Let me show you how I made them. So I'm going to do, oh right, so somebody asked last night, I don't know if it was Yvonne, if you could do it on somebody said they didn't have any watercolour card or any watercolour pens. Now, any cheap felt tip pens are all water based. So if you've got any felt tip pens at all, 9 times out of 10 they are water based. So you will be able to do the technique with it. So it's worth trying. But somebody said they didn't have any watercolour card. So they said about Hazel's all-round card. But I think they actually meant Hazel's media artist card, because this is the one that you can throw a lot of water at. So these two I did on Hazel's media artist card. You can see it's a creamy colour, whereas my watercolour is a white colour. So it does have like a creamy finish to it, but once you start adding colour to it, I don't think it matters anyway. And I do think it's really rather nice. Oh, Gail, it was you. I'm sorry. So yes, so I'm going to use a piece of Hazel's media artist card, and I'm going to try it on super smooth because I haven't tried it on super smooth. Now this, I don't think it will react the same way, because this doesn't like water like the media artist or watercolour card does. So we'll try it on here first, and then I'll show you on the media artist. I won't probably do a whole sheet on here. It depends how it looks. So let's go with, I'm going to go with Eastery colours. So I'm going to go with pink, orange and yellow. And if you want your lines to be straightish, then just put your ruler down. But when you're doing your line, go slightly above it so that you're not actually, because I do like the hand-drawn look to it, but it's going to help you to keep it a little bit straighter. You want to, or I found that if I space my lines out a little bit, maybe have a couple close together, and don't worry too much what they look like now, because when you start adding water, it changes it. So I'm going to put some water out on my mat, and I'm just going to use my clean paint brush to pick up the water. I like to tap as much of the water off as possible because I don't want it to be overloaded. And then I'm just going to drag my water across my pens. No, it doesn't work the same. Okay. We'll do one colour on here. So normally on the media artist I go across once, maybe twice, but I'm having to go across more than that to make this move a bit more, because it's not moving very much. You can definitely see my lines still. Let me just dry it, because I dry in between each lot of colour, and well, each vertical and horizontal colours. So I'm not saying it's not nice, but you can definitely see your lines still. I mean, I suppose you can see them still a little bit in here. It's where it bleeds either side of it, maybe. But so you can use super smooth. I'm going to do the lines going the other way as well. And then we'll see what happens. We'll add another colour as well, just to see what happens when we blend the colours, because obviously that is something you need to think about when you're choosing your colours. Think about if it's not quite dry and it blends together, what sort of colour you're going to get, because this one, this greeny one, was actually pale blue, the turquoise and the green. Now you can't really see the pale blue anymore, and the turquoise hasn't come out very turquoisey. It's come out, it's got a bit of the green, because as you drag it across, it's picking up, it's reactivating the green and picking that up as well. I could try that, Tracy. I'll try that with the next colour. So let's just make this the pink, these lines wet, and then I'll do that with the next colour. The thing is, I suppose it wouldn't really matter, but I think it's going to make everything bleed. But we'll try. There's only one way to find out. And that was a bit this morning what I was doing, because it was like, Oh, when Gail said she didn't have any pens, watercolour pens, I thought, why can't I do this with pencils? Actually, I quite like this, the effect that this is giving actually. Right, one thing you do need to do in between is you need to, when you're changing colour, just give your brush a wash and get rid of the colour that you've already got in it, because I did that one time and it didn't help. Okay, so let's just spritz that and let's put some yellow down. And just put one there. No, I think I'll leave it at that. Okay, and let's bring in some water and pick our water up. Excuse me. Right, I don't think it particularly helped spritzing it. Maybe I didn't spritz it enough. But what it's done is it's actually added water. Another thing you need to be careful of is if you're going to heat the back, make sure you wipe your surface first, because I did that a couple of times yesterday and I picked up the colour that was on the mat. I turned it over to flatten it out and it picked that colour up. So what it's done is where the water's reacted a little bit, let me see if I can get my camera to focus a bit better. It has, you know, like when you spritz it with water with the distressed oxides, it's done that a little bit to the pink already, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So let's have some yellow, and also my pens, I have to say, I've had them a long time and some of them are starting to run out a little bit, so I might need to go backwards and forwards. In fact, I did have another yellow, I think. Yeah, let's give this one a try. Yeah, that's better. And I really don't mind my wobbly lines, but that's a personal thing. If you would prefer it to be a bit neater, then obviously use the ruler just to help guide it a little bit. Okay. I must be engrossed. It just shows, doesn't it? Isn't it funny? You can get so engrossed that you forget to talk. It doesn't happen that often, but it's like, I just think it's fab. I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me, but I hope you all think it's fab too. Let's wipe my mat. Oh, you do, good. Thank you. Okay, so it's coming together, and then I would add a bit of orange because I think that's going to really bring that together. So I want a bit of orange up there. I might have a little bit of orange in there. Some of the pens are really still nice, so I can get really lovely fine lines, but it is nice if you get a bit thicker. So if you vary them, that's what I'm trying to say. And we'll have maybe one in there, and we'll have one down there. It is nice to have a little bit of white. I think gradually it gets covered over, because this one's got a bit of white left in it, But I do think if it's got a bit of white, I don't know, I personally I preferred it a little bit more if there was a bit more white. But again, that's just a personal thing and might not be what you're after. Now, some of the colours you'll find with your pens, you have to work harder at making them bleed than other colours. I don't really understand, but they will do it eventually. So you might need a bit more water with some of them than with others. But it's a piece of card at the end of the day. And yeah, if I don't use it, I don't use it. But I think once you start die cutting into them, I mean, you could die cut flowers out of these, all sorts. But once you start cutting into them, like I did with the tag, I think it gives it a totally different... I've just cleaned it all, I haven't finished yet. I think it gives it a totally different look. Just wipe the water out. And you are better when you're drying something off to lift it off your glass mat so that the air can get through it and it'll dry it a lot quicker. If you want to flatten it out, then that's fine to put it down. But to actually dry it, you want to be able to have that air flowing through. Oh, it's really coming to... It's so pretty. Just reminds me of the summer and picnics, probably because maybe it's a bit tableclothy. I don't know. But it does remind me of the summer and definitely of picnics. Okay, so let's a bit more water. I do think it's worked fine on the super smooth actually. So if that's all you've got, then give it a go. Like I say, it is only a bit of card and a bit of felt tip, a bit of water, a bit of your time. But that's the good bit. I've really enjoyed it. Right, let's get rid of my orange off my brush in case I go for a different colourway next time. Let's wipe the board and let's give that a blast. If you wanted, it does look like fruit salads, Wendy, you're right. Maybe that's what it is. I love fruit salads. Maybe I should do a blackjack one next. What you could do if you wanted to, you could bring in your gold, silver or white pens as well and just add some little lines in. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And when you die cut into that, like to cut a tag out, it would just be lovely with the bunnies on the top. Okay, so let's do one on Hazel's Media Artist. I think I might do a watercolour pencil one again this time. So let me pick, let's have a yellow, an orange, and we want a pinky colour. I don't know if that pink, it might be, let's try it. Now, obviously, the order that you put your pencils down is going to affect it as well. So I'm going to start with the orange, which is the darkest one, because with this one, we started with the yellow. So you can see, like, you can see the yellow, but the yellow is probably the softest one, if you like. So I'm going to start with the deepest colour on this one. And literally all I did was, and if I want a thicker line, maybe come back in, just fill that up. But just literally do some close together and then some spaced out. I don't think I can do the horizontal and vertical lines together because I think it will smudge, so I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to do one at a time. So some water again, and pick it up with my brush, and then just come in and work that water into that pencil. So you are going to get a deeper edge, if you like, to where the edge of the pencil is, and then it's going to fade out a little bit. So I suppose it is pretty similar to the felt tips as well, where they left that bit of a line. So all I've done is add a little bit more water to my brush, and I'm just going over again, seeing if I can smooth any of that colour out. Oh, I just think it's I mean, I just think that with a pencil, and I mean, it's limitless. You can create so many different colour combinations. It dries really quick on the artist media as well. Media artist. I always get it the wrong way round. Right, wipe my side. It obviously doesn't matter what happens on the back because it's not going to show. So we'll come back in, and actually I'll add a different colour. I haven't tried that yet. Let's try adding the pink for the vertical. I will do orange verticals, but I'll add it in a different layer, and I wonder if that will affect how the colour looks. I suppose it must do, really. Okay, I don't think I'll clean my brush out, so let's give that a clean. The other thing that I did find that I did a couple of times, more so with the felt tip pens and the pencils, was I leant on it. And that is a little bit of a thing because I'm left-handed. But yeah, so just something to bear in mind. Try not to lean on it because obviously it's wet at the moment. And I was picking up colours that I had before. I tried to clean my hands before I came live because they were green and yellow and orange and all sorts. Right, so if we want to soften this, we can add a little bit more water to our brush. Just come back in and see how the colour will still move. Entirely up to you. It's just you have to stop when you think you like it. Okay, so let's give that a blast like that. Oh, wouldn't it look nice with stencils? Oh, right, Tracey, you've just given me an idea, especially the circle one. Okay, so if we add our orange verticals now, let's see. I'm not sure it will make that much difference. And I can't see, actually. I've just had a thought. So let's see. I can't see why, if I keep my paintbrush away, why I can't do this colour as well. But just don't wet it until I clean my paintbrush. So let's try. I need another bit of yellow. Let's put it in there. Okay. So we'll do the yellow one first because that's the palest colour. And then I'll come back in and do my orange. Then it won't matter if my brush isn't completely clean. Oh, this is looking lovely. Oh, so all those lovely colour combos that you can put together. Oh, I'm liking that. Right, so I need to clean my brush a little bit. And then I can pick my water up and come in and do my orange. So you can do all your vertical stripes in one go, which will help you with the pattern a little bit. And what I find sometimes is that the colour, like I've got a definite line here. So if I turn this round and work my colour out, it's going to drag it to the paler side. It's going to make that paler side a bit darker. So that's lovely. I'm liking that. Okay, so let's clean my brush. Clean the desk. Heat that up. It is really important. Oh, it would look good with distressed watercolour pencils too. It would. I don't have mine anymore, but it would look lovely with them. They would work really well, Philippa. Gail, it does still get me excited about stuff though. I just love it. I really do. And I don't get to play as much as I would love to. I mean, I'm just so pleased that every Thursday now, Philippa chases me for what day am I going to be live this week. So it's making me do a live each week, which is fabulous, and it's what I want to do, and it does make me that I have to create because I've got to come up with something to share with you. So yeah, it's brilliant. And it's that day again tomorrow, Philippa. How can it be? I tell you what, Thursdays come round way too quickly. Okay, so again, I'm going to do the yellow first. And I would leave these to dry. I would make a batch of your backgrounds, and then I would leave these and make your turn them into cards or tags or whatever you want to do the next day. Leave them to dry properly. Because if you try die cutting card and stuff and it's still a bit wet, you won't get nice results. So I would have a day of making a few different coloured backgrounds and then have a day spent converting them. Okay, so I'm just going to move this colour a little bit, blend it out and soften it just that little bit. Sure it was the pink I was doing. Talking so much I can't remember now. There we go. It's still moving though. So that's what's so lovely about it. I mean, I think that from pencils is just amazing. A piece of paper and a few lines. I mean, okay, you could start getting a lot more creative with it. But just how lovely. Anyone can draw a straightish line. I mean, I can't draw a straight line, as you can see, but I don't think it matters. Just flatten this out a bit. There we go. So I think that, I love that. And when you can turn it into something like that, who wouldn't love that? I just think it's beautiful. So, oh, I am gonna find Philippa. I'm just gonna bring these back in. You can see that I like these colour combos, can't you? I probably won't use this one. I'm not keen on this, I have to say. I want to add another colour to that, so I'll probably add, I don't know, another blue or a green. I quite like the green in here. Looks really nice. Right, so Tracey was saying about Philippa's stencil, so let me grab. I'm going to do it with pencils because it's not going to. I'm going to take my tape off. This was from my live the other day. I don't need that on there anymore. And I'm going to place this on here. And with my pencils, let's do different colours. Let's have a green and a blue. So we'll have some greens and some blues. So if I draw around these, let's just do some different colours. Oops. Oh, Tracy, thank you for suggesting this. And we'll have that one as that colour. Okay, so now we'll take it off. Let's move my tag out of the way. Add some colour down. We'll go in with the green first. Now, I'm going to drag the colour into the circle. So I would actually probably do this with a smaller brush. This is a bit big, this brush, for this, because I want to push the colour into the circle, not out of the circle. And it might be quite interesting to see if my water brush works enough. Let me get my water brush. Okay, so let's pop. Oh, it probably would work enough actually. So I'm going to move the colour into the circle, and it's nice. The thing is, you don't get as nice an edge with the water brush as you do with a brush that's just got water on it. So if I loosen all that up. Oh, and I've got some green left on there. Ah, never mind. I wonder if, I think if I left the stencil on, the colour, the water would get underneath the stencil and I'd get in a mess with it, unless I pinned it down. You could go right into the middle. You can paint the whole thing all over. You don't have to just go around the edge. So we can paint all of this and then just drag a bit more colour out. That's the same one. Let's do that one as well. Let's come back in with a bit more. I did this one first, didn't I? Let's do these first. So I'm moving the colour now right all over, but you're going to obviously get a darker colour around the edge, and I won't worry so much about if it bleeds out a little bit. But again, what a great background for a mail card. You could put a number on this and a happy birthday. You could just put happy birthday on it. You could die cut some stars and put them on there. You could have flowers, make it pretty colours with your pinks and what have you, and then add flowers. Oh, and I have to say, if anybody missed Tracey's live on Monday, it's on, oh, I think I've finished it. I'm loading it to YouTube, so it will be on YouTube. I will make sure after this that I did finish that. And yes, go and watch it. It was so inspiring. I just so wanted to go out and get loads of eggs and start like making wrappers for them, because it was just so lovely. And her basket was just so simple and so effective. I think I'll be making a basket as a special prezzy. But yeah, look, I mean, how lovely is that? Just from going round, and it will look different. Let's quickly, I know I've been a bit too long actually, haven't I? Never mind. I don't suppose you mind really, do you? So let's very quickly see what happens if I do it. So this is on watercolour again, but you will need to wipe your stencil afterwards, because your felt tip pen will be on the edge. Oh, of the stencil. So you will need to wipe it. And I've just moved it. Never mind. Let's see what happens. It might be better to do one colour at a time. Let's have a look. I think with the stencil, the pencils might be better. Oh no, but look, the felt tip pen moves beautifully. Oh, you could turn them into balloons, couldn't you? Oh, you could stamp Philippa's lovely flowers in the middle of them as well. Tracey, what have you started? Right, so I need to just blast this. It would, Gainer. They would look like baubles. Oh, yes, journal pages would be lovely, Vivian. Right, so now it's dry. Let me wipe my stencil. And I would wipe both sides, just in case any of the pen's gone through. Right, let's get the green. I've got the green. So you could actually overlap them. You don't even have to use the stencil as the shape or the pattern that it is, do you? Let's see what happens when we have... But again, so this is another reason why if you do this, think about what colours you are mixing together, because of when they contaminate each other, what colour are they going to make? We'll be okay with this because it's green and blue. But if I did red and green, you see, although it'd be lovely for Christmas, it would make brown if you went over the top. But it'd be fine if you kept them apart. Oh, it's got to have a bit green down here as well. Right, let's wipe that off before I forget. Oh, but it's just another use for the stencils as well, and I'm loving this. I think I prefer it with the pens because it does move a lot more. Oh, and you're going to get such a lovely colour when they mix together. Oh. So maybe if you have got plain green ones, do those first. And then when we've got the ones that overlap with the blue, we'll get that other colour showing. The more water that you have, especially with like the artist media is fine, and the watercolour card is fine because it's meant to take all that colour. If you want them to bleed a bit more, add a bit more colour. Oh, let's just hit this. But do make sure that you dry it in between. And it's lovely because you get the different tones as well. Okay, let's bring in one more colour. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that one. Right, so I'm going to go over the two. And you can see, like, my pen line isn't even good. Because they're brush tips, it's a bit harder to get a nice defined line. But when you add that water, it really doesn't matter. I think it really adds to it. It's rather lovely. Right, let's have those three. It's almost like a cheats watercolour. We'll have a little bit up here. And I think, oh, I could just go over the top like that, couldn't I? There we go. Right, let's just wipe that so I don't forget. A bit more water. And we'll do the plain ones first. Get just the colour moving. Oh. Get that green bleeding in. Get all those different colours bleeding in together. I mean, this really is like the look of watercolour using felt tip pens. Let me just blitz that. Who suggested the striped stencil? Yes, it would. Yellow and blue would give you a green overlap, so that would be a perfect colour. In fact, if you use, let me just finish heating this. Right, so if you actually used yellow and red and blue, you will get the colours of the rainbow, because you'll get orange, you'll get purple, and you'll get green. So if you use those three colours, you would get all the colours of the rainbow. But yes, Philippa's striped stencil would be gorgeous. It would give you straight lines as well. But how lovely is that? Thank you, Tracey. You know, if you're not confident, I couldn't draw circles. I much prefer it with the pens to the pencils. I probably didn't do enough water or enough crayon, maybe. I mean, I could come back in and add a softer bit around the edge that I could then, let me just clean my brush because it's got the wrong colour on it. So I could soften this quite a lot. But I do think that the felt tip pen, I love the felt tip pen. Look at that colour. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, yeah, so thank you for that, Tracey. And, you know, if you haven't got the confidence, if you've got a star die, why not do some stars? Oh, and you could go around them with the felt tip pen. Oh, okay. I've got this to play with now. Not now. I'm not showing you this, like, I'm not going to demo this now. But I created a background and I've spritzed it and splattered it and braided it. And yeah, it's got some gold on there. And now I'm going to go and create something for a new release that's happening next week. So yeah, exciting. So let me flip the camera. So I hope you like the look of that as well, but that'll be for next week. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed. I've had a lovely hour and a bit just playing, and I've got all these beautiful backgrounds now to turn into something. Well, I'm going to do my rabbits on them because I need them for Easter presents, like I said. But this, oh, just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So thank you so much for joining me. I love when you start playing and everybody has a bit of input into it. You know, I wouldn't have thought to use Philippa's stencil, and that's probably my favourite bit. So thank you so much. It's lovely. We all bounce off each other. It's fabulous. Okay, have a lovely rest of the day. Good night to all the people in Australia soon. I've forgotten what the time is. I know Jeanette said your clocks go back because you're autumn, aren't you, at the weekend. Ours have just gone forward. So it's light, really nice and late now. It's lovely. Anyway, okay, thank you so much. I will load this up onto YouTube so it's easy to find, and if you want to have a go, I would love to see what you make. And yeah, just thank you for your company, and I will see you all again soon. See you next Wednesday at 9, and then there'll be somebody else on at 9:30 and somebody else on at 7. So there you go. Okay, have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.